Hello, America and the world. Welcome to another episode of Life After Lockup. This is a program strategically designed to show the public and society another side of incarceration. We get one view, and usually that view sticks in our mind. And this program is designed to show you that there is another side. There are those that go in and that have some difficulties while they're there. They get out, they have difficulties trying to adjust. And we just like to interview some of those people just to show you that there is another side of life after lockup. Today we have a very exciting guest. Her name is Kimberly Yates, and we are excited, Kimberly, to have you with us today. And I've been looking for this day for a long time, expecting you to come. And I want the public to hear from you and just to kind of get an idea of where you've been, why you went to prison, because they know this show. If you're on this show, you have to be an ex-offender, as I am. Mm-hmm. So what was it that sent you to prison in the first place?
Well, initially, I did state time, and that was for trafficking in cocaine.
Okay.
And then I did a second round of time.
Okay, the first time, how much time did you do?
The first time I received a 13-year sentence.
For trafficking?
For trafficking. Okay. And of course I did that. I ended up serving out
13 years.
13-year sentence.
You did a whole 13 years.
Yeah. And after that, of course, my mindset was, well, I'm off of parole. I don't have anything to worry about. If I commit another crime, it won't be as bad.
Right.
So I did commit another crime, and this time it was federal.
Was it same thing, same type of crime? Trafficking?
No, it wasn't trafficking. It was conspiracy to possess marijuana.
Oh, okay.
And I received an 8-year sentence, 7-year sentence, sorry.
Okay.
And of course, with the federal system, you don't meet the parole board. You do a set amount of time on your sentence.
Oh,
so I ended up doing 5 to 6 years.
Of federal time.
I'm pretty sure that's how much it was. I try to forget that part of it.
Oh, right, I'm sure.
Yeah.
My goodness.
And
so that was federal time. So you did 5 or 6 years in federal, and you did about 13 state time.
The state time, I'd say it ended up being about 10.
About 10. And so altogether you did about 15.
About 15 years of my life has been.
Oh my goodness, in prison. And you got out from the last time about a couple of years ago?
It's been
maybe?
a couple years now.
Okay, and now before we get into how you're doing since you've been out, I want to deal with the incarceration period, because a lot of times most of my guests have been men. I've had a few women on it. Most of my guests have been men. And prison, they talk a little bit about their prison life. How was prison? Was state prison different than federal prison? And for you as a girl, how was it?
I was in state prison, which I don't think it's like that now, but when I did the state time, you could wear your own clothes, you could have packages sent in. I would say it was easy to do time, and I know that sounds kind of crazy, but it was, you had a lot of conveniences there.
Okay.
And it was the one thing that you really wanted was your freedom, or to see your family, and those were the things you couldn't have,
Exactly.
So really, in a sense, it wasn't easy to use. I don't really know how to explain it, but in the federal system, it's more, I think, structured. And you have to wear a uniform, and you have to, if you do purchase items, it's from a store there. You have to be told what time to get up. You work, but the work, when I say work, I don't mean you get paid minimum wage. You don't have that option.
Right.
The bottom line is, no matter what you get or what you're allowed to have there, you don't have your freedom.
Right.
You don't have your family. So no matter what it is you can have or not have, that doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're still incarcerated.
You're still incarcerated, and it's just not. It's not good.
It's not home, basically.
Exactly.
It becomes home because you have to be there, but it's not.
Well, I mean, you're told how long you can talk on the phone.
Right.
You're told everything, and people talk about, well, at least you have your meals, you have a place to sleep. You may have that, but
it's still not freedom.
It's not freedom.
It's not freedom. Now,
And it's hard.
yeah, it's hard. Now that's one of the things I guess that I have to say, because I only did 3 years. You did all of that, and 3 years for me was like a nightmare. So and you
Yeah.
multiply times how much you did. I'm sure it was difficult. Now, you had an incident that happened to you. Was it in the state or the federal?
In federal,
In
when I
federal.
was doing my federal time.
Okay.
I was assaulted by a prison official,
Okay.
a federal prison guard,
Okay.
and this particular officer threatened that if I said anything, that he knew where my family lived and he could find out anything he wanted to
When
about
you-
me because of his
Right.
position. He
When
had
you say,
access
when
to
you
that
say
information.
assaulted, are you meaning beat or you mean
Sexually assaulted.
okay, rape?
Yes.
Okay.
And I had the courage to come forward with it.
Okay.
And because of that, there were some other women that came forward that this had happened to as well, but they were afraid to say anything.
Okay.
And they came forward, and the gentleman was prosecuted, and he did about 4 months in prison.
Okay. 4 months.
4 months in prison. At first, I felt a whole lot of anger,
Of course.
because of that, and I felt as if, well, it's because we were prisoners, we were
Right.
inmates,
Had no rights.
right, and that's why he got a lesser sentence. But it is what it is. He could have gotten life in prison, and it wouldn't have taken away what he did.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
I could either choose to move on, or I could let it hinder me.
Right.
And I chose to move on.
And that's powerful, because you choosing to move on has made you who you are today. And I want to ask a question. You probably you can't answer it, I'm sure, but you can speculate. Like I can speculate. Do you think that's something that goes on regularly in a women's facility?
I think it goes on a lot more than people realize. And the thing about our case was that a family on the outside had written into the Bureau of Prisons about this particular officer, and it was swept under the rug, so to speak. And the thing that makes our case so unique is the fact that, from what I understand from our attorney, is that it's the only one like it, in that the Bureau of Prisons was put on notice about this officer, but they continued to allow him to work in that position, knowing what he had done
Oh man. Okay.
to someone else. So
It probably happens a lot.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It is.
It
and
is very
and
unfortunate.
And I'm not saying that everybody in a position like that uses their power, misuses their power, their
Right.
authority, because I'm sure that they don't.
Right.
But you have those individuals who, unfortunately, they do. And it's already bad enough being incarcerated,
Exactly.
especially a female.
Exactly.
And when you're told that if you say anything, your family will be harmed, or I know I can get information, anything I want to know about you. Well, you have women that aren't as strong-minded
Right.
as I am.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
And so they do keep it in, and they do just live with it, and they move on, and they carry this with them, and they don't, sometimes they never tell anybody.
And I would almost believe that they never really bounce back from it, really. That it's probably something that's back there constantly.
I don't think that that's something that ever goes away. I
Right.
think it's how you deal with it. And I think I know with some of the women involved in my case, I think the shame,
Oh yeah.
because they feel like it's their fault,
Right. Yes. Yes.
that they have a hard time dealing with that.
I'm sure.
But
Do you ever contact any of those women? Do you guys talk at all?
only through our attorney, because of the
Legal
situation
things,
of
okay.
being on probation, or
All
unless,
right.
well, we have permission to
Okay.
talk to one another, of course, about the case. But as
Right.
far as there's some really good women, and one of the things that I think is important that people should know is, just because you're incarcerated, I mean, you're still a human being.
Exactly.
And you still have
Exactly.
feelings, and you still hurt, and you still
Go
you miss
through.
your family.
Yes. Yes,
It's,
you still have the same feelings. You made a mistake and you got caught for it, and you are paying the penalty for the mistake that you made.
Exactly.
But it does not lessen your humanity.
exactly.
You're still human. But unfortunately, officers, and they don't like to be called guards, but officers and prison guards, whatever they are, they sometimes seem to think that we are less human because we are having to do time. And that's why they can take advantage of women, and because they're less human. And I can threaten
Exactly.
you with your life or your rights or your family because you're less human.
Exactly.
And in your case, and I have to applaud you for taking a stand, for standing up, for being a human being.
Well, and I want to say this too, because I feel like I should. This is a unique thing that happened to me, that I was able to meet Martha Stewart because we were in the same living quarters.
Oh,
She
okay.
was at the same place I was at.
Oh, okay.
And had it really not been for her, I mean, she was really a bundle of support to me.
Great.
And she's such a kind woman. She is.
and
I mean, the person that it's just a different person altogether. That you see her on TV and stuff, but to see her in those surroundings and in that situation,
It helped.
a lot
she
of
helped you through
compassion.
that.
Let me tell
Great.
you, a lot of compassion.
Great.
Yeah.
So you're saying that she was a
She was
tremendous help.
a big support.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is great, and that is something that is needed in prison as well as out of prison. And you going through that, did you have to go through the legal process while you were in there as well?
While I was in there, yes, and of course, you always worry about suffering repercussions
Right.
because you're fighting the system.
Exactly. While you're in the system.
And that does happen. That does happen.
Did it happen to you?
And I can say for the most part, we were treated fairly.
Okay, that's good.
As far as our situation, we weren't, once we were taken out of the place it happened
Okay,
and we're somewhere else, we were treated well.
that's good. That's
So
good. That's good.
it was just a relief to get out and to continue.
Right, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Now let's fast forward a little bit. You've got that case dealt with, and you're dealing with that assault, and getting out. How long have you been out now?
It's been a couple years.
A couple of years now. Getting out of after serving those 2 sentences with that much time. How are you maintaining I know now you own a business and all that. How did you get to this point to where you got a thriving business going on and everything?
Yeah. A lot of it has to do with the RDAP program that I took while I was in federal prison.
Okay.
My counselor, Miss York, was she was my primary counselor. And I can't even begin. I don't talk about her and I want to cry.
Oh, that's okay.
I mean, I can't begin to tell you what a help. I mean, she, not only that, but she was a very spiritual woman.
Okay.
And she helped me tremendously.
Great.
I've been blessed in a lot of ways. My attorney in Philadelphia, who is one of my closest friends, Lynn Ann Westcott, my fairy godmother, Charlotte Scott, she's been a tremendous support. I mean, I can't tell you. My probation officer, and I know that sounds crazy to say.
No, if it's truth, it's truth.
I got probably one of the fairest, respectable men that you could. I've just been fortunate, I mean, he is one of those people that he'll hear you out.
Good.
And it makes it, man, it makes it so easy. You just don't know. It makes it so, and I haven't told him this.
Well, you know, it's good. It's good that
it's easy to call him and tell him the things that I have to tell him because I know he's going to hear me out.
Right.
You know.
Right.
And I've just maintained because you know you have to change your way of thinking.
Of course.
And you have to accept responsibility for your actions. And it is what it is, you know, and you just have to, when you quit putting blame everywhere else but where it's supposed to be, things change, you know.
It does. I want to go back to your giving accolades to these people, counselors and
my grandfather,
you know, things like that, because
my mom.
You know, people need to know how important it is that all the counselors are not bad, all the parole and probation officers are not bad. There are some that are genuinely willing to try to help you if you want to be helped.
Right, and I didn't always have that opinion now. I mean, you know, I'm sitting here telling you this now, but I didn't always feel that way.
I'm sure.
You know,
I'm sure because you probably met some of the bad ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure. But then if
I were doing the right things, I wouldn't have to worry about them if they were bad or not.
Exactly. That's a very powerful statement right there. If you were doing the right thing, it doesn't make any difference.
Right. My 2 children, you know.
How old are your children?
My son is 12.
Okay.
Tanel, and my daughter is 6. Dorica.
Oh,
I had both of them while my son, when I was incarcerated doing state time. My daughter, I turned myself in when I was pregnant with her.
Oh, okay.
So my son, my mom
just stepped up.
She took care of him and she raised him, and he is, I mean, I'm really proud of him.
That's good.
And so I missed all that.
Yes. Yes.
But obviously it wasn't enough for me to stay out because I went back.
Went back the second time.
And, you know, people say their kids, you know, my kids whenever you're incarcerated. But see, I got out and I went back. So my kids, you know, it's nobody's fault but my own.
Exactly.
And, but today it's different. It's so different.
It's so different. And you're different. You know, you're different. I want to bring up something. You've been doodling with something in your hand there. I want to take a look at. First, I want you to explain what that is and why you have it.
This is my prison ID from the Federal Bureau of Prisons, and there was one of the counselors there, Miss Utterback, and one of the things that she said that would be something to do whenever you walked out was to take your prison ID and carry it with you everywhere you go. And I've carried this with me everywhere since I've been out. And I periodically write back to Miss York, who was my primary counselor, and I tell her how my life is and the things. And mind you, my life isn't perfect. You know, I've had my
ups and
even
downs.
in the 2 years, I've had my ups and downs.
Of course.
But that's what keeps me grounded.
Right.
And I always make sure that I tell them that I have this. I still carry it, and that it works. You know, it works.
Can I take another? Can I see that?
Sure.
And now I see this great big old number on here.
7983033.
Ain't that something? Now I was saying earlier, you know, it's amazing. I've been out of prison for 22 years.
And you remember?
And I still remember my prison ID number, but I don't even know my driver's license number.
Me either.
And it's, you know, and it's amazing how this
number,
this number becomes your identity. And looking at you, this is what you look like. And I'm sure when you look at yourself, you remember what you were thinking, you remember what you were going through, you remember all of that. Everything. Just to take a real good look at this. And I think that's an amazing thing for a person to do, is to take that ID with them. Take a look at it every now and then, because you'll remember when you took that picture.
Yeah.
You know, and you remember what you were thinking and what you were going through at that time. And you don't ever want to go back there. You don't want to go back to being that person.
No.
You know, because you've come out from a horrific experience. You know, that is what you experienced during that federal prison probably should have ran you crazy. But, you know, here you are, you're out, you're working, got a great smile on your face. Your face is glowing, you're doing great. Now, I'm kind of afraid that you're working yourself half to death, though. But you're
I'd rather work for what I'm working for now than what I worked for then.
Now, and which is okay. Explain that.
Well, it wasn't minimum wage,
Right.
that's for sure.
That's for sure.
I don't know, what, 50 cents a day. Don't hold me to that. I know it was.
But it
some
was about like
change,
that.
okay?
It was about like that, 50 cents a day.
You make about, what, $3 a month?
I'm telling you, you know what? And you went to work faithfully too,
Exactly.
man. Because you want to get out of that sale, you wanted to do something.
Right.
But here you are now. You're in control
Yeah.
of your life.
Yeah.
And you're doing great. Your business is doing well,
It is.
very well.
And I have a lot of supportive people.
Oh man,
Can't begin to tell
this
you.
is one of the things that I always say on this program, the importance of support. You have a great support group around you. You had support even coming from prison with your counselors and
I did.
your parole officer, and now that you're out, you have support. Tell me something. Say what made you just start your own business? What did that come from? How did that come up?
Well, I have a lot of determination. And, while it is hard to get a job being a convicted felon,
Yes.
but it's not impossible.
Right.
It's not impossible because I did gain employment, but, I thought, do I want to do this for the rest of my life?
Right.
I mean, I know what I'm capable of, and I know what I can do.
Right.
And I said, I'm either going to do it or just keep being okay where I'm at.
Right.
So I did it. And I took a chance, and I started in my grandfather's driveway. And
You started washing cars.
washing
in your grandfather's
cars.
driveway.
My brother helping me, my brother Bobby helping me. I didn't know a thing about it. Well, I did. I just never really done it a whole lot
Right,
because my
right.
brother had done it. And I just went from there. And I read and I learned anybody that would teach me anything I could learn, I did it. And I taught myself everything.
That is
And
amazing.
I'm where I'm at now because of that.
That is amazing.
So it can be done.
Determination.
If I felt like this, if I could sell drugs and be as successful as I was with that, I can take a legitimate business.
Thank you.
And I
Thank
can
you.
be just as
It's
successful.
Exactly.
So that's what I did.
It's amazing because a lot of people, and we said it earlier when we were talking, they get out and they say, I can't find a job. Now here you have a legitimate business. How difficult is it for you to find people to work for you?
Well, I work from like 7 a.m. till sometimes 8:39 at night.
Good Lord.
I need help. I can't find anybody that'll work.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
And it is hard. It's hard, and I guess I do it because the passion I have to succeed, and
Now, I'm going to tell you because of this program, because people are watching it, and you're probably going to get some people calling you to work. So you'll probably have
they'll
some.
work.
If they'll work.
And
Now,
if they can keep up with me, they can work.
Listen out there. If you guys can work, keep up with this sister
There's
right
been
here.
no men that would keep up with me yet.
Oh my goodness. You probably
Maybe I need
challenge-
some women. I don't know.
But either way it goes, you do need some help.
I
You-
do.
Okay, and that's important. And people watching the program, some people are going to be calling you. Trust me, they're going to be doing that.
And people who seriously.
Want to work and don't mind working.
Exactly.
Don't mind working, and
Exactly.
because you've made a success.
And not just that. I don't have people working for me. It's working with me.
Working
we work
with you. I
together,
like
and
that.
that's how I like to do it because
you get
I
out
know
there and
how
work.
it is.
I go by that shop, and you out there working harder than anybody I've seen. You are out there doing the job yourself. You're not sitting under the shade tree
Never.
drinking a lemonade. You are working, and so whoever
Every
works
time.
with you will be working with you.
Well, sure.
So
but we can
that's-
all reap the benefits together too.
And that is good. That is good. I'm really proud of what you've done, and you've turned a seemingly impossible situation into a possible situation from the things that you've encountered while you were in prison. That assault was a horrific incident.
I just want to say this about that too. There's some things going on in Washington, D.C. about changing policies and stuff for the Bureau of Prisons to, I guess, give more, safety and security to situations like that. And I feel like that we have had a tremendous part in that happening. And I plan on doing some speaking with that and going to Washington. And
good.
It's just, I want it out there.
Good.
And that's my way to get through it, is to
expose
help other people.
Good.
Exactly.
Good. You know, it took a lot of strength and courage for you to speak up when it looked like that really you were at a disadvantage, because you were still incarcerated and they had basically control over you. And for him to threaten you like that, you know, it took a lot of courage.
I think I had a lot of anger. And I'm one of those type of people that when I'm hurt, I just was very angry. I mean, I was very hurt, I was mentally, I can't even tell you, but there was the anger overrode everything.
Everything, so you didn't care.
I didn't care. I mean, I had nothing else to lose. What did I have to lose? I lost everything. I had nothing else to lose. Nothing.
So in all actuality, he assaulted the wrong person. In all actuality.
Maybe the right person.
The wrong person for him, but the right person.
The right person for me. For other women.
For other women, because you exposed it and you got help for other people.
Yeah.
And you're taking it all the way to Washington. That's bravery. That's commendable right there, sis. And I'm just, it takes that. And I want to say this to every female that's out there that's listening to this program. Don't hide anything when somebody does something to you. I don't care what they say about telling. You expose that, because you never know what it will do for somebody else. I am so proud of you, and you've come through some things. I mean, when I say through, you've come through them, on the other side of them, and you're doing a good thing for the community with the car wash, helping people with jobs, and that's a good thing. Nobody, if I didn't know that you had been there, I would know it by seeing you. You got a good head on your shoulders. You're doing a great thing, and you're a hard worker. You work too hard. Slow down.
We need you out there.
Take a vacation. take a vacation.
We need you out there.
No, you're not gonna get me out there. No, it's too hot now. But I did my share of chopping cotton and all that kind of stuff as a kid, so I'm not gonna wash no cars. But you've done excellent. Is there anything else you want to say that to anybody that might be listening?
It's possible.
It's possible.
It is possible, and there are people there to help. You just got to ask. You have got to ask, and there's just more people that understands than you realize.
And that's good.
I tried to do it by myself, and you know what? It just don't even work.
Can't do it. And you need people, and you need good, positive people.
You do, and when you really change, you'll know you really change. Not to change just because it's what everybody wants to hear and because it's what you're supposed to do to get through. But when you really change, it's true about the people that you are around, the majority of your time will change.
It will. Thank you again for watching Life After Lockup. Call somebody and let them know when we're on. God bless you. You have a marvelous day.